A mysterious syringe was placed on Mark's finger, and it was reinforced to prevent him from escaping. Then, the knob was turned, and the needle of the syringe slowly began to pierce his fingernail. The pain was excruciating. After enduring this torture, Mark lost all his strength, but his captors were still unsatisfied. They continued to punish Mark's cheating hand for several more hours, before finally throwing him out of the casino. Mark looked at his hands, and made up his mind to make the casino manager pay for what happened. The next day, after the casino opened, Mark went back with 50 million, declaring that he would challenge the Devil's Swamp again. There were over 600 million marbles at stake. Mark was filled with confidence, ready to take on his ultimate challenge. He first bought a marble card for 10 million. Each marble cost 4,000 yuan. For some reason, the casino manager felt uneasy when he saw Mark. The challenge began, and the marbles fell. This round was the nail forest, where out of 100 marbles, only one could make it through. But Mark easily made it to the second round. This scared the manager. If this continued, Mark might really win the 600 million. He asked his subordinates, and learned that the gap in the nail forest had already been set to the narrowest possible setting. Yet, Mark's marbles passed through the first round effortlessly. In less than 2 minutes, his marbles reached the third round. The situation was getting tense. If the marbles landed in the red hole 3 times in a row, the casino would lose 600 million and likely shut down. At this point, his subordinates suggested opening the defense mechanism, but the manager was too scared to cheat openly. He didn't think Mark would win. Even if his marbles reached the third round, they wouldn't pass. Thus, Mark wouldn't win the prize. But the manager was still worried about the nail forest. If the gap was already set to the narrowest distance, then the truth was clear. He quickly interrupted Mark's actions, and publicly exposed his cheating methods. He claimed that Mark's marbles were smaller than normal, which was why they easily passed through the nail forest. He then brought out the marble board. If the marbles could pass through the stone slab, it would prove that Mark had switched out the marbles. However, to the manager's surprise, the marble didn't pass through. This meant Mark's marbles were of normal size. The audience began to heckle, accusing the manager of unfair behavior. The manager still thought it was the marble board that was faulty, but no matter how much he checked, everything seemed to be in order. Now, he could only watch as Mark continued to pass levels. Suddenly, the manager had a realization. The other tools were normal, but the gap in the nail forest was something he himself had measured and adjusted earlier in the morning. So, the problem must lie with the measuring tool. He rushed to the tool room to check. There, he realized that the normal gap was slightly narrower, the one used by the casino all along. The larger one was the one he used this morning. After comparing, he discovered the issue. They had mistakenly thought they had set the narrowest gap, but in reality, it was the widest. The surveillance over the tools had been on, so Mark couldn't have entered. In the next moment, the manager noticed some dirt. He quickly figured out that the issue was with the ventilation shaft. He had to admit, Mark had a brilliant mind. Using just a rope and magnets, he had easily switched the tools. The manager was now furious. He didn't want to think about it any longer. He immediately activated the casino's defense system, but Mark kept winning, easily passing through level after level. The audience was excited. Mark knew it was only a matter of time before he was caught. He wanted to finish the game before the defense system fully activated. However, the 3-layered discs in the third round were designed to make players fail repeatedly. He shot 200 marbles at once, thinking that with such a large number, he could overcome even the hardest designs. Everyone thought Mark was about to win the prize, but once the defense system activated, Mark's luck ran out. No matter how many marbles he used, they were stopped at the second round. He could no